Welcome back, I'm Sean, and today we're checking out one of the most exciting piece of audiophile tech on this channel, and this all-in-one player today just got a new firmware release. So let's check it out. So the player and speaker today was sent over to me by Cambridge Audio for review, but this is not a sponsored post and my review will be based on my honest and unbiased opinion. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any future tech reviews. If you know this type of all-in-one player such as the name Unity, I'm sure you've also heard of the Cambridge Audio Evo 150 as well as their Evo S Speaker, which is designed together in the Evo series to complement one another. And the Evo 150 player comes in at a price of $2,999 US or about 15,899 Malaysian ringgit. And if you're in the audiophile world, you'll know that these are actually a whole lot more value for money as compared to other players in the market, such as the Orenda AP20, and the Evo S Speaker here comes in at $799 US or about 3,800 Malaysian ringgit. So if you're interested in buying one, do check out my links below. So to start things off, this player is not a new product from Cambridge Audio, but Cambridge Audio just announced a new feature that will arrive in a future update, which includes a new display for the Evo 150, and it looks amazing because you can now get VU meters or volume units to measure the sound intensity of the amplifier. And this is a perfect update for the Evo 75 and 150 because that beautiful screen seemed like a waste if it's just displaying music information. So you can also add a separate dedicated VU meter to your setup, but since this is an all-in-one player, it's meant to clear up all the clutter. So you're already getting an amplifier, a streamer player, and a DAC in this device, so adding a VU meter here makes total sense. But what I want to talk about here in this video is also how the Evo 150 complements the Evo S speakers, because I think this is a very nice combo and for a simple audiophile setup that really not many people are talking about, especially if you don't want a lot of clutter in your setup. So we'll also take a listen to how this speaker and player combo sounds like in its original setup here with all Cambridge Audio components and cables. So to start with, the design between the Evo series is meant to complement each other, so you'll see some similar design cues all around. Starting with the player, you get a beautifully crafted player, fully made out of metal with the Cambridge Audio badge at the top and a small corner of the device. Very understated, and I really love this design. So the front is a huge screen which is 6.8 inches big, it's an LCD display, and yes, it's an LCD, you don't get deep blacks, but then again, you're not watching movies on this display. For what it's worth, I think it's a beautiful screen, very high resolution, which makes scrolling through the interface a very fun experience. And some people do complain that it's not a touchscreen, and I actually agree with Cambridge Audio for not putting a touchscreen here. First, honestly, I don't like my device to be smudgy and full of fingerprints, and secondly, the huge dials at the side gives you a very satisfied feel to controlling your device. And thirdly, there's no direct interface here that you need to really scroll or touch, and I really don't mind that it's not a touchscreen. And one unique look on this player here is also the tapered floating bass at the bottom of the player, and adds a cool look to the player, and this is also apparent on the Evo S speakers because you also find the floating bass here at the bottom. So I'm sure by now you also know that this player comes with a swappable side panels and they're magnetically attached, and you can just change it between a wood finish or a modern black finish to complement your setup design. So the speakers here have a super clean design and it's very understated with a beautifully magnetic speaker mesh grille, also with the Cambridge Audio badge at the top. Inside, you're gonna get a black 1-inch silk dome tweeter and also a 6.5-inch anodized aluminum mid-bass driver. And behind this speaker is also a rear bass port and also speaker connectors, and that's basically all you get with this speaker. So very simple, very understated. So the Evo S speaker comes in at 7.1 kilos and the Evo 150 comes in at 5.3 kilos. So with that clean, beautiful front, you also get a bag that is filled with ports, inputs and outputs that you can connect all your devices to your heart's content. And there is also a difference between the Evo 75 as well as the Evo 150 because the Evo 150 has more power, it allows you to connect to more speakers and also more inputs and outputs. So that's the main difference there. So of course, starting with the most obvious, you get your speaker outputs here. And the Evo 150 supports 2 sets of speaker for both A and B speaker units, and you can also either screw your cables in or use the banana plugs that come supplied with the Evo S speaker to directly connect it to the unit. So one thing that I am particular about this is where the headphone jack is, and I'm really happy to say that it is at the front of the player, and it makes perfect sense to just plug it in, output it directly to the front so you can have a cleaner setup and not have wires dangling from the back of the player. So apart from that, you also get to plug in the Evo CD module if you have that, and there's a dedicated connector for it. And for the overall outputs, you also get a preamp out, a subwoofer out, and you can also output your music via Bluetooth 4.3 that supports aptX, aptX HD, and also SBC codec. So in terms of the inputs, there are two types of inputs that we can talk about here. The first is analog inputs, and you get one RCA auxiliary input, one set of balanced XLR inputs, and one MM or moving magnet phono stage. So in terms of digital inputs, you get two Toslink optical inputs, one coaxial input, HDMI ARC input, as well as a USB media, so you can just plug your thumb drive into it. Also, you get Ethernet port here, so you can also hook the system up directly to your local network. So just to put in some key specs of the Evo 150, and since this is the bigger brother of the Evo 75, it supports up to 150 watts per channel, and you can drive two sets of speaker with the AB outputs. And if you look at the smaller Evo 75, you're only getting one set of speaker outputs with this device. So you also get the ESS Sabre ES9018K2M reference DAC, and as mentioned previously, if you have a turntable that doesn't come with a built-in MM phono stage, you can easily connect it to your Evo 150 to support that. So you also get multi-rooms music support thanks to a host of streaming capabilities from Google Home, Apple AirPlay, Tidal, Roon multi-room support. All of those are available for you. And one thing with the Evo series is that it comes with the Hypex Encore Class D amplifiers, and this has also sparked some conversations or controversies in forums about its performance, but I do think that it's a great sounding amplifier, and frankly, I don't hear any hums with mine. As for the Evo S, this is an 8 ohms impedance speaker, hence you get to drive this with the Evo 150 just nice with its rated 150 watts of power, and you definitely get a pretty damn impressive power with this speaker combo. So let's talk about this speaker and all-in-one player combo, because I think this is a good place to start an audiophile journey, and the Evo S is made to complement the Evo 150 or the Evo 75, so this is kind of like a match made in heaven. So starting with what I like, the distortion, and with this amp and speaker combo, I can assure you that my ears do not hear or pick up any distortion, even at very loud volumes with very tricky music genre. And I think the overall construction of the speaker and the amplifier combo generates a very clean and high resolution output even at very loud volumes beautifully. So bass wise, you're not getting massive bass with this speaker, and ideally you can mix this up with Cambridge Audio's own range of subwoofers, but for a 2.0 speaker setup that we have here, just with this satellite, you already get a pretty dynamic bass signature that is not deep but high resolution, but you can hear the depth of the bass but not feel the deepness of the bass. I hope that makes sense. So where this player speaker combo excels at is the mid vocals and the highs, where if you play music with lots of female emphasis, you're going to extremely enjoy the power and clarity that this combo can drive, where female vocals gets pulled to the extreme ends and highs with stability and clarity, no cracking, no distortion, just drive goosebumps up your arms. And highs here is sparkly and clear, giving you an extremely high resolution output. And one thing that I note is the depth in the audio that you can hear, that range in your music that somehow gets opened up with this speaker. Everything just seems like a very wide soundstage, which is really awesome. So let's take a listen at how the Evo 150 and the Evo S sound like. So if you have the Evo 150, this update definitely adds a great feature to your system with that VU meter capability, and I actually enjoy just looking at the bars move. And overall, this combo may not be for everyone, but in the world of all-in-one players, this is actually one of the top contenders, and I hope to have the opportunity to test other players one day. Until that day, I would really enjoy having my Evo 150 and Evo S in my studio. So that is it for this review. If you find this video helpful, smash that thumbs up button, share this video everywhere. If you haven't yet subscribed, do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.